in game. Alright then guys, so welcome back to BuzZ versus Supermen. It is currently 2-0 to Supermen, and they have put in a very good performance so far. And that last game did feel quite close to me. I do feel like that last game could have gone either way for quite some time. I know that landing from Superman was really nice, and he did manage to hold on to that very well. At first, it was denied by BuzZ, and eventually, of course, BuzZ lost ground over time. And I still felt like Gripen at the south could have really pulled that back for them. I feel like that game could have still swung in favor of BuzZ at any point. And in fact, they were very close at some point into tipping that balance. But unfortunately, they didn't pull through. But that game was probably one of the closest games I've seen so far of this tournament. And hopefully, we're going to see some more really close games with these teams. And like I say, hopefully this will also not be a 5-0 roll, because that's what it's been for most of the other sets that we've watched so far. So once again then, for the BuzZ team, down to the southeast of the map in the purple, we've got BuzZ. He's playing as the Mongols, and it looks to me like he is on the pocket position, which is pretty nice. That's where you kind of want to be as the Mongols, I guess. We'll see what his flanks are, though. Up to the sort of northeast of the map, in the grey, we've got Gripen. He's playing as the Vikings on the flank. And down to the very south of the map in the blue, in the red, that is definitely not blue, we've got BuzZ A Bad Trip playing as the Celts. So that's the three of them. They are kind of, if you cut the map this way, if you look at my mouse on the mini-map, they're just off to this side of the map. Red, purple, and black on the mini-map, because I got the greater black patch at long last. So on the other team, for Team Supermen, we've got over to the far left of the map in the yellow Quicksilver, playing as the Persians. In the pocket position for them on the sort of northwest of the map in the green, we've got Taurus playing as the Koreans. And up to the very north in the blue, we've got Superman playing as the Spanish. So this should be, again, another interesting game. Should be a good game. The map is Two Rivers. We've seen this one played before, and I can't remember which team has played on it because I've cast so many Warriors Coming games this last week. I've been streaming every single night. I've just kind of forgotten who has played what maps and when, because there's just been huge amounts of games. But I do remember the game being pretty good, and in fact I think it was Tyrant versus the Czech team, wasn't it? It was the Tyrant versus the Czech team. And one thing I did notice that in that Tyrant versus Czech team is that the middle remained unwalled for most of the game, and as a result I think we'll probably see some night raiding in the middle in this game as well for the pocket players, of course. So we'll see how it goes. It should be a good one, and maybe BuzZ will actually get a point on the board. We will see. Obviously, Superman so far have been pretty dominant, and they are, I think, much more even teams compared to previous sets that we've watched. So the map being Two Rivers then, obviously the Viking player getting up his dock pretty early on, and we've also got Quicksilver getting his dock up as well. Now the pocket player has got a choice on which river they dock. They could dock the river on the left or the river on the right. Now obviously BuzZ here are going to have one dock on the top river, and Superman is going to put his dock on the top river. The question then remains, will the pocket players dock the same river, or will they dock different rivers? Because if you get the pockets docking this different rivers, we will see 2v1 situations on both rivers. However, if they dock the same, then it will be a 2v2 on one river and a 2v2 on the other. I like that this map is a lot more symmetrical. It's sort of symmetrical than the others that we've seen. The player starting positions don't seem to be too kooky, which is nice. And it does seem to me like the pocket players are both going to dock the same river here. However, Bad Trip opting to not build the dock and instead putting up a barracks at 6 minutes 15, a very early barracks for him, and he's playing Celts on this left flank, so of course that wood bonus for the Celts allowing him to get a little bit more wood slightly early, hence why that barracks is very early. He's got 5 deer back here, and he's actually going to do a rush against Quicksilver, and this could be really strong given the fact that Quicksilver has now built a dock and he is going to be investing more villages onto the wood. You have a quick look, he's got 5 villages on wood here, as Bad Trip has just 4. We might even see a 6th villager going over to wood for Quicksilver here very soon. But there's no chance in hell that Quicksilver's going to be able to afford a counter barracks. And as a result, he will be forced to wall up defensively. Now, has he scouted the barracks? Well, no, not at the moment. He's trying to find the rest of his sheep, which he's finally found behind his TC. So this rush going to come in from Bad Trip. Could be pretty effective, actually. Meanwhile, on the top side, we've got both players, Gripen and Supermen, both building one dock on this top river, and that's going to be 1v1 there. Now, obviously, the downside to the rush from Bad Trip is that BuzZ could end up going 2v1 on the river here, which means that this could be putting BuzZ's fishing ships at risk. And considering BuzZ is the pocket player, he's not really going to be wanting to make too many galleys because he will be wanting that fast castle, especially as the Mongols, so he can start getting some early knights out, or who knows, even getting a castle up pretty early on as well. So that Drush starting to move in now. Bad Trip looking to get a villager from Quicksilver. Quicksilver going to go back over to the shore to build, it looks like a second dock as he goes up to the fuselage here. Obviously spending a lot of wood on these docks, and this villager here just waiting for the wood to roll in so that she can actually get up to the, not get up to the fuselage, what am I about, to actually get a dock up. Bad Trip though, I don't know where he's going with these militia at the moment. He looks like he's going around the back, and you know, this wood line here is going to be pretty difficult for him to hit because it's so close to the gold, to the TC. But if we have a quick look at Bad Trip's line of sight, he's not really seeing anything else. He's not actually seeing the gold location or anything like that. So that Drush going to come in here. These villagers going to pull right back to that TC as Quicksilver hits the fuselage now. And one villager looks like it's going to go down. This villager getting trapped in there. One villager will fall for for Quicksilver even. And Bad Trip going to get off to a nice start, hitting Quicksilver's eco. And Quicksilver pushed away from wood, which is less than ideal when you're trying to do a grush, which is what he is trying to do here on the flank. Now Bad Trip, unfortunately, not scouting too well. Still doesn't know where that main gold is, and if he did know, he would come down to this wood line back here. This wood line is so bad for Quicksilver. There's not an easy wall for him to do there at all, and as a result, he could get another couple of villager kills, but Bad Trip so far just got sort of milling around outside of his base and scouting those docks there as well. So, like I said, this could put BuzZ's fishing ships at risk, but BuzZ also now up to the fuselage, but on 30 population, and looking like he wants to do a fast castle, but no gold income. Oh, yes he has. He's got 3 villagers on gold, but slightly late with those villagers on the gold there. Not going to be able to afford to go up to the castle age immediately. But he is now up to feudal, and he is getting that dock out as that galley from Quicksilver comes in. Now, if Quicksilver starts attacking this villager, he could deny that dock entirely, or delay that dock enough that he gets a big advantage on the water here. Bad Trip trying to come in on this left side, but good wall from Quicksilver, forcing him towards the TC if he wants to go around, and trapping him out, or pinning him out of his base. Looks like Quicksilver's going to lose his scout though, which is not ideal, as these 3 militia and scouts still survive outside of Quicksilver's base. But Quicksilver's wall here should be enough, but it's not. Oh my goodness me. Bad Trip going to go round. He's still taking the arrow fire, but that villager falls. And that's 2 villagers down for Quicksilver now. And Bad Trip still has 3 militia alive. He is doing an amazing job of keeping these guys alive. Quicksilver pulling his villagers off of that wood line. There's no weak villagers here. And Bad Trip probably going to lose the rest of this if he stays and fights. But he's going to try and get another villager kill, of course. This one here, about half health as it runs back towards the TC. And instead, he's going to go and change his focus to this one. But I don't think he's going to get another villager now. It's unlikely. Surely not. This villager with 5 health as it runs back towards the TC. That scout there with 9 health and one more hit. And there we go. Oh, 1 health as the villager goes back. And wow. Poor Bad Trip. So close to getting that kill. But Quicksilver will keep her alive. That 1 HP villager now going over to some berries by the looks of things. Interesting. Now, BuzZ just about holding out on the water. managing to get that second dock up just fine, as Quicksilver was obviously very distracted by Bad Trip's shenanigans on the flank. The top it's not a lake, it's a river, top river looking pretty close between Gripen and Superman. Superman at the moment with one more galley at the moment, and also 2 more villagers though, so Gripen with 2 more villagers over Superman, so potential here for Gripen to start pulling ahead as he's got a little bit of a larger economy at the moment. But these galleys from Quicksilver looking a little bit threatening at the moment. Blaze getting outnumbered, and it is 2 docks each, but Blaze here probably going to want to run for the fishing ships if he feels like he's going to lose the water, because he doesn't want... The last thing he wants, really, is to lose the water, lose his fishing ships, and not take the fishing ships down from the Supermen team. This galley going back, just 3 health, but this villager, I think, probably going to repair. Good idea to repair your ships if you can. Gives them a lot more longevity, a little bit more life. And I think he will repair that. Looks like he's got a plan to do that, or exactly that. Now, the pocket player Taurus is looking a little bit better here. Like, you've got to give this a lot of consideration, because Taurus now 2 stables, and this wall across the center is non-existent, and Taurus is going to be able to come into Blaze's base unless he gets this all walled off. Of course, Taurus is clicked up to the castle age now. Blaze is not clicking up. He's still feudal, and why is he still feudal? Because he's been forced to do a grush on the lake. So... on the river, even. So, I feel like this play from BuzZ is risky, and it is incredibly high risk, because now Blaze is losing these fishing ships, Quicksilver and Taurus both have a lot of fish out, and at the moment, Quicksilver's keeping those fishing ships alive as well. So, this is looking good for Supermen. Whoa, okay. Hemel just donated $50. Keep up the good work, he says. Thank you very much, man. That's really generous of you. Thank you so much. Wow. Yeah, donations like that are just awesome, and I honestly cannot say thank you enough times. But it's donations like that that really help me to keep going, and really keep motivating me to work hard and continue to bring you these games, and ultimately keep this channel alive and keep the high amount of content coming out. So thank you very much, Hemel, for your donation there. And the top river then, looking pretty even still, but Gripen seems to have the galley advantage, but he doesn't have... wow, okay, he does now have fletching. That was so close. I mean, literally, as Superman engaged that, Gripen got that +1 attack, and that obviously is going to force Superman right back. Great stuff from Gripen there, and he's got a big advantage. But in the south, the advantage is firmly in the favor of the Supermen team. Bad Trip trying to do a land attack here with archers. This villager, though, not going to finish the wall in time. It's so close. That villager, so close. Come on, a house, a house. My kingdom for a house, seriously. Wow. Bad Trip going to get around that wall so close there. And my goodness me, that was incredibly close. Any later, and Bad Trip would have not pulled that off. Quicksilver going to get a little bit of damage onto these archers with his boats, and the boats, of course, very valuable to him. And, of course, now Quicksilver going to try and wall up back at home to keep himself safe. But this aggression from Bad Trip on the flank, I think it's risky. I don't know if it's going to pay off, and if Quicksilver comes over with the villager, he will wall this, and then he's got to just deal with 3 crossbows. It's not a huge amount. No docks still from Bad Trip, and we've also got Taurus now up to the castle age. Taurus sending some knights over to his flank. So I think this high aggression from Bad Trip was so close to backfiring there, but since these crossbows have got in, he is going to get more villager kills, and Quicksilver has the least villagers in the game at the moment. Not surprising, considering that, you know, Bad Trip has done a great job of killing them, but now Taurus is sending a couple of knights over here to deal with these crossbows, and he's not sending them where he should, which is to Blaze's base. Blaze now had enough time to wall it up, and he's going to be safe across the middle of the map with that wall as Blaze hits the castle age. So very well played by the BuzZ team there, and actually Bad Trip going to get a few more villager kills by the looks of it. One on this gold going down, and he's splitting those archers up. Going to get another kill here if he focuses down that villager. At the moment it's just the wolf doing the work. Come on, Bad Trip, sort it out. Gaia is not your teammate. But yes, those knights coming in from Taurus should clean up these crossbows here. Should have no problem with that at all. And we've also got Taurus with just a single fire ship on the water, but that is lost now for BuzZ and Bad Trip. But in the north, it is still looking good for Gripen. In fact, it's looking so good that Superman's dock has just disintegrated into the water there. So well played by Gripen. That's kind of a big deal as well, because this guy's main gold, Superman's main gold, is right in range of those galleys. So those villagers are at risk there as well, and that's going to be a pain in the ass. Meanwhile, as well, Gripen getting in at the top, and I think Gripen here making up for his previous games where he struggled. Superman just crumbling, it seems, on this flank. A few villagers going down on these deer from these archers. Gripen taking that full walls control. And Superman unable to get that wall done as Gripen comes through. And if I was Gripen right now, I'd probably, like, I don't know, basically do what I could to prevent this from being walled up. I would wall here to here and here to here and put a gate in it or something, just in case Superman tries to push back out against this. So on the south side, Bad Trip here, his palisades are being taken down by Quicksilver's galleys, and they're focusing down that single palisade there so that the knights have a chance of going through. Taurus actually sending his knights at the moment through the center of the map, and this is where we find out that BuzZ has got a hole. Does he have a hole? It looks like there's a hole there to me, but I might be wrong. Is there a hole? I don't know. Taurus, if there is a hole, I'm sure he would find it just by right-clicking inside of here. Yes, there's a hole. There is always a hole, and this is where Wizard Winner's hole emote gets to be used in the chat, because right between that market and that blacksmith, BuzZ missing out on that quite miserably, and BuzZ has gone up to like 5 or 6 TCs here. And those knights are in. Of course, it's going to be difficult for them to do much damage because the knights are simply not going to be able to, tank too much arrow fire from these town centers. And BuzZ, going to be able to garrison villages very easily. On this left side, Bad Trip losing this wall, and this is an opportunity now for Quicksilver to respond with some crossbows of his own, or for some knights to come through, whichever, either or. Hole hype. All I see in the chat is millions of holes. I like it a lot. So anyway, the pocket player BuzZ just dealing with these knights at the moment. The camels here coming in. And actually, I think for BuzZ, that was a little bit of
humiliation.
Now he's going to go and fix it with his villager there. Going to build a stone wall in the gap. Good stuff. He's actually going to fix the hole in the wall there. And still, I don't understand why Taurus is adding more fires in. I don't know, actually. Oh, no, he's not. He's just patrolling it. But yes, camels taking out those knights reasonably well. No upgrades on the camels, though, versus the +1/+1 on the knights of Taurus. But more camels are coming over to dispatch of them. And those knights are now no longer going to be able to get through. On the top, though, Gripen's got the water, which is great, like I said. That means that BuzZ have one river and Supermen have the other. Taurus with a lot of fishing here, and Quicksilver with the fishing still as well. But Bad Trip walling up with stone on this right side, obviously now that this has gone down, and he's unable to get really aggressive against this stone wall on the left, so I'm not really sure what the BuzZ team are planning. But in the north, I think this is where we got to watch the action at the moment, because Gripen is launching an all-out assault onto Superman's base. Superman at the moment with 34 population and Gripen on 82. Gripen's got 51 villagers and 31 military, and Superman has 2 military and 34 villagers. These galleys on the water taking a lot of villagers down, unable to take stone here, unable to take gold, and doesn't look like there's any more stone available. The gold in the north denied, as Gripen has full map control over here, and now he's building a stable as well. We might see some knights coming out just to support this army and take down the mangonels that Superman is making. So Superman is very much out of this game at the moment. I mean, he's not out, but he is really down on his luck at the moment as well, and BuzZ now is going to have to deal with this, because Taurus sending some knights into Gripen's base. Gripen not really building up so much his eco as, not building up his eco quite as much as he probably should, because obviously he's going really high aggression, and that means he's had to spend wood on these military buildings and not on his third TC quite as quickly. But Taurus is in with those knights. BuzZ, however, dispatching the camels once again, sending his camel brigade into Grippen's base to help deal with that raiding. And I think Taurus is a really clever player. He's definitely the MVP of the Supermen team. I mean, he's clearly the best player out there at the moment. Giark324. I cannot read. I don't know why I read that as Girak. Just became a Wallalo Warlord. Thank you very much, Giark. I very much appreciate it. Thank you for subscribing. And you are now the official best new subscriber. How does that feel? I bet that feels pretty good, right? Anyway, I wish I could read. I really do. I think I need to go back to school or something, because I just... Yeah, words. What are they? Still, BuzZ sending over these camels, unupgraded still, but that does mean that BuzZ might save a little bit of resources for the Imperial Age. He's very close. He's just 100 food away, and he can click up. Taurus, on the other hand, no food at all. There's nothing at all in the bank for him. Nothing at all. How does he have no food at this point in time? I don't know. Obviously, he's making a lot of knights, and that is the main reason. The Grippen's still open on this left side. Obviously, this is a little bit of a pain, but still... Good stuff from the BuzZ team in this game, and Grippen pressuring Superman so much that he has less than half the population of everybody else in this game at the moment. So, well played by them. Left side, Bad Trip and Quicksilver having a standoff, but Bad Trip on 76 villagers compared to Quicksilver's 71. He has got a small advantage there, and he is starting to wall this up as well. So this could be quite a big stalemate on this left side. Obviously, Persians versus Celts. Persians probably going to have a slight advantage, actually. Depends on how much siege the Celt use, I guess. But siege is very expensive, so it's unlikely that that Bad Trip would get away with making tons and tons of siege. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Look at those war galleys. That's like messing with my eyes. It's giving me a mini seizure looking at that. I've never seen that. It's such a tight patrol before. That was a very good patrol from Grippen there. Like, what on earth? Oh, that's kind of cool. But I want him to do it again. Do it again, Grippen. Please. Yeah, so BuzZ doing a great job on the right side, helping his teammate out there. And he's also on the way up to the Imperial Age now as well. Grippen's not really able to seal the deal over here. He's not able to pin that nail in that coffin, like I sometimes say. He's not hitting that TC. Superman, obviously, with a little bit of good micro here with these mangonels, managing to take out Grippen's mangonels whenever they kind of come into range. So Superman, good defense so far. Grippen getting a couple of villages on this wood line. And at the moment, he's not found this at the back, which is probably quite fortunate for Superman. And with the mangonels from Superman, it's going to be a little bit difficult for him to engage head-on with his army anyway. Taurus still getting pressured a little bit from the water from Grippen here, forced away from that stone. And Taurus still not on the way up to the Imperial Age. He's very slow in comparison to Mr. BuzZ, who's now up, and he is, well, what's he gonna do? Let's see. He's still got those camels, but they're still unupgraded. I can only imagine he's gonna go for Mangadai here. One of the strongest units in the game, so why not? And Mangadai already coming out now on the middle of the map with upgrades being piled on as soon as you can afford them. Quicksilver coming forwards with that TC on the left. Risky TC, because he did lose, I think, a mangonel or two trying to get that up. But Bad Trip now up to the Imperial Age as well. Can't forget that. And the Quicksilver, on the other hand, is just clicking up to Imperial now. So Bad Trip should have a big advantage here. He's playing the Celts, so good siege, like I say, but also getting that castle up on the front. We could see some trebs coming in soon. In the center of the map, BuzZ is coming forwards with some more castles, and Taurus not going to find this just yet, I don't think. BuzZ, of course, going to try and stop these knights from doing any damage with his Mangadai there. And on the right side, still Grippen inside of Superman's base, but Superman not losing too much here. Oh, okay, yes, I take that back. He's lost a lot here. Grippen found this at the back. Grippen found this wood count back here, and he could move over and kill a few more. If he's not careful, Superman gonna get the mangonel shot, though. And, wow. Wow. How did he mess that up quite so hard? The mangonel shotgun of miss, and for Superman this time, it's definitely got to be a
humiliation.
Oh, I love them. They're so great. But yeah, Superman had that in the bag. Griffin wasn't paying attention because he would have reacted earlier if he was, and then his mangonel just taken out like that. That's bad news. Bad news. Superman down to 52 population, still less than half of everyone else. Meanwhile, Blaze pushing forwards in the center of the map. Taurus is still not up to the Imperial Age yet. Quicksilver is not up to the Imperial Age just yet. Bad Trip taking down that TC on the left. The Trebs are coming out, and the Mangudai are starting to push forwards. Of course, these Mangudai now up to the upgraded to elite, but we are still waiting to see those final defense and offense upgrades coming in. Griffin still keeping the pressure on the right side, and Griffin still castle, not too far from Imperial, but Taurus and Quicksilver now up to the Imperial Age, but quite late in comparison to BuzZ at this point in time. BuzZ, surprisingly, not adding any Trebs in just yet, as Blaze tries to get more Mangudai out for now. Left side is looking great for Bad Trip, though. And Bad Trip here doesn't quite have the economy of Blaze. He's 30 villagers behind, but he has got a bigger military. He's got the Capt Ram and now Siege Ram upgrade done, and he is going to be pushing in with very little to stop him, because Quicksilver on this left flank really has very little military. It looks like he's going into archers. He's doing skirms at the moment, which is interesting. Not quite sure about that decision. Bad Trip could very easily add in some mangonels and onagers. That wouldn't be too difficult for him to do that. And so yeah, he's pushing forwards on this left flank, and he has got Trebs to follow this through with. In the center of the map, looking pretty stalematey for now. Army mateys, Taurus not going to be pushed down too quickly, as there are no Trebs from Blaze just yet. In fact, Blaze's castle here starting to take some damage there. Of course, the beauty of the Korean army is that it's so tanky. Those war wagons are just fantastic. So this left flank is looking very close to going down. Of course, Bad Trip here, able to take that TC down with pretty much nothing to stop him. Quicksilver with just single skirmishes here, not going to be able to take the Siege Rams down with skirmishes alone. And that TC has fallen, the Trebs following through, and Bad Trip, I think, just going to plan to outnumber Quicksilver with Halbs alone. The problem is, Skirms do have an attack advantage against Halberdier. They have an attack bonus. But I guess if he's outnumbered by too many, then they won't be able to do a whole lot. Of course, Bad Trip could easily add some Woad Raiders in to clean up those pesky skirmishers. But unfortunately for Quicksilver, he's not able to get the numbers out on this left side. Quicksilver's flank is crumbling, and Superman can't exactly hold out against Griffin either at the moment, who is also on the way up to the Imperial Age. So in the center of the map, Blaze has been pushed back a little bit, but he is starting to mass up some Siege Rams now. There are onagers out, though, for Taurus. And Taurus, like I said earlier, definitely the MVP for the Supermen team. He is by far the best player at just a glance. You can easily see that. And so far, pushing Blaze back, even though Blaze had the Imperial Age upgrade advantage. However, Blaze really massing up those Mangudai now. But Taurus has the onagers, and onagers are a great unit to use against Mangudai once they get upgraded to either. I think Onager with Siege Engineers is good. Of course, the Korean Onagers get naturally more range anyway, but I kind of wish he'd get more still. The Siege Onager upgrade is really what he needs here. But wow, that's a lot of Rams from Blaze. That is a ton of Rams from Blaze, in fact, coming forward. And there's the GG from the Supermen team. BuzZ have done it. They've got their first point on the board, and they bought it back in what was a pretty good game, actually, from the BuzZ team. Griffin had a stonkingly good game in the north. He managed to keep the pressure on Superman. He obviously won the water, which was great. And Superman playing as Spanish here should have probably rushed a little bit more for a castle, because in most situations the Spanish should come out on top against the Vikings. Obviously, the Vikings lacking a lot of heavy cavalry. The Conquistadors should have been all over them if he'd have actually done that. And at the very least, Superman, if he'd have been able to get a castle on this left side, he could have at least kept his resources, even if he lost the water. But he wasn't able to do that. Of course, both of them going all out into the water there, and Gripen getting the advantage because he is the Vikings. That's expected, inevitably. And then obviously crumbling on that flank. The left flank was fairly even. Obviously, Bad Trip sacrificing the water for the early aggression, the drush, which was actually pretty effective. And then they walled it up and defended until Bad Trip and Blaze reached the Imperial Age first and stormed through. Taurus crumbling at the end there, just not enough to fight those Mangudai with, and there were way too many siege rams for him to deal with. So, thank you very much for tuning in, guys. That's going to be the last game from me this evening. Well played by BuzZ there, but that is still 2-1 to the good old Supermen team.